Hello everyone. Today we're going to be installing the Redarc Tow Pro Liberty brake controller into the other Ridgeline. These are all the pieces it comes with. You've got the control box, the cable, the switch and dial for setting sensitivity and for applying brakes if you need to apply them separately. And the truck comes pre-wired for trailer brakes, so we have a pre-wired connector that we just need to find the connector under the dash, and then we need to plug this into the controller. We just need to find a location to mount it and to put the control in. So we're going to go to the truck now and show you what we got going. Okay, so here's the dash of the truck. So where we put it in the other truck is down here below this cargo compartment. There's a little flat spot. That's where we put the control knob in the other truck, and that's where we're going to put it in this truck. In order to get there, we need to pull this panel out and this dark black panel out that goes across. This lower panel needs to come out, and the both side pieces here need to come out. And then there's some screws, and that center panel comes out, and we can drill it and put our thing in there. And behind there's a nice cross member that we can attach the proportioning sensing control unit to. So let me grab some tools, be right back. Okay, so we got our little panel popper here to pull off that side piece. Kind of just set it up on top of the dash here for a minute. And then we need to start pulling this lower panel down and out. Sometimes you get the AC vent with it, but this time we did not. That panel comes off. Then we gotta undo all these little plugs back here, but don't worry about mixing them up. They only plug into their specific holes, so not a big deal. And then on this side we have the air conditioning temperature sensor here. We need to undo so we can pull this panel completely out. So let me do that and I'll get right back to you. This side's very similar. We have this side panel and then this panel we need to pull off. Okay, side panel's off, just needed both hands to do it. Now we need to get this center panel here off. So we're going to bring the glove box down a bit. And then it's just held in by clips. It comes out. Just kind of when you get over here, be a little careful. And there's just these little white clips that go in here. Just a whole lot of clips that hold it on. And it all comes off at once sometimes. So now I gotta go grab a screwdriver, and we're gonna take a screw here, one here, there's one over here. We're gonna take those 3 screws out, and then we'll be able to get to the screws that are behind here after we take this black panel out that has the AC controls in it. I gotta go grab a screwdriver. I'll be right back. Okay, so take these screws out. Okay. Now we need to unclip this black panel here. Sorry about the sun. It's kind of coming in the window right there. That may be a little better. Put the window shade up so now we can get back to what we're doing. Pop this plastic piece out here. The hardest part here to get out, and it will pop out, is this, where the emergency, oops, didn't mean to launch you guys, where the emergency flashers are here. It's kind of hard to get out sometimes. Sometimes you can work around it. Sometimes it's just kind of hard to get out here. We'll work on that from another angle. Like I said, that is the worst part about this one panel. It doesn't like to come off. There we go. There we go. Finally got that out of there. We'll get that panel out the rest of the way in a minute. But for right now, let's get these plugs undone. Again, there's a bunch of plugs under here, but they really only go in one way. Get all those out. Now I can work this a little bit better under here. We'll get this panel out of here, out of the way totally, here in a minute. Honda did nobody any favors with this little panel. It goes in real easy, but doesn't come out real easy. Maybe we can not have to do that. We'll see if we can get it without dealing with that. So next we're going to take these screws out on the sides of this like I showed you. And this panel just comes off here. And again, we've got a bunch of plugs and wire harnesses and stuff to unplug here so that we can take this off and go drill it and put that switch in. There. Just got a couple more plugs, and then we will go to the workbench and drill the thing. I think first thing we're going to do is find the wire harness inside the dash. That's kind of tricky sometimes. There. And we got the little panel off here, so we can drill our hole. But I think we're going to go under the dash here real quick first. See if we can find the harness plug. Okay, so it wasn't as hard to find as we thought. It actually, if you move some of these harnesses away, the other Ridgeline, it was buried way up high and really hard to find. It was like wedged between the parking brake and a bracket, but it's this harness right here. We need to just take our harness that we bought and plug into that. It's a little easier if I do two hands, but one hand takes a bit of maneuvering. There, we're all locked in there. Now we just got to route this over to behind the dash. We'll get this routed, and then we'll mount the brake controller. So we got it plugged in here, and then we just kind of routed it up over some of the existing tubing. Can't really see too much, but then it comes out right here where we need it. So let me go grab the other pieces and we'll get that thing mounted. Okay, so here we go. We've got the little red box mounted nice and securely to the frame of the dashboard here. We kind of routed the zip ties around the plastic so that it's going around the frame of the dash here. Kind of snaked it between the plastic and that here, and then up and around it. And we'll cut those little tabs off in a minute, and then we need to plug in this connector to there, and then it will route to where we're going to mount the little knob. So we will go drill the hole for the knob here in a second. Anybody that's questioning how it'll work being mounted a little sideways, it says in here, any position is fine, just needs to be solid. Don't mount it to a wire harness. Just make sure it's a secure, solid location, which we did. We mounted it to the frame of the dashboard. Doesn't matter orientation, sideways, upside down. However, it will figure itself out, and believe me, the other one in the other truck works perfectly fine. Okay, so basically the other Ridgeline, we put it right about in the middle of here, so that's where it's going to end up on here. We will put it again in the middle of that. Okay, so we have drilled 3/8 hole and the 1/4 inch hole like they asked in here, and we have lined up the little gray washer thing, and now we're putting the nut on, and then we'll put the top on, and then we'll plug it in and put it back together. Okay, so now we're back in the truck, and it's as simple as we need to plug this plug into here. And then get all these banding panels back, get all these panels back together, and then we are good to go. So I will start plugging stuff in. Let me see if I can get this set up so you can watch. Not very exciting at this point, but just got to snap everything back together. Okay, got that panel back in there. Work on this panel here now. Now we're going to try and slide this under this panel again. Since I don't want to take a chance breaking this panel, it doesn't want to come out, we're going to try and slide this under here. back in here. That's all back in there. Put the screws back in. Now we're just going to put the other dash piece back in. The AC tube and the plug back in. Then we can put this back up here and we can start plugging everything back in. And I don't know if anybody's watching closely, but this is a note to myself and to remember to check things twice before you drill. This panel, I put the little hole in. Unfortunately, it's not the same as my 22 Ridgeline. There's not enough room back there for the control knob. So we've got a little hole there. I'll either change that panel out or maybe I'll get a little plug for it. Not that big a deal, but I did relocate the switch to over here. I shouldn't have assumed it was the same. They made some changes in the 25 versus the 22. So, my bad, but maybe you'll learn a lesson from my mistake. And just being transparent. We all make mistakes. So, in this case, the brake controller's right here. So, if you need to actuate it, you would push it and hold it. And to adjust the sensitivity, you would just turn it. As you see, it lights up blue to indicate that it is powered up. And it changes all kinds of different colors once the trailer's plugged in, but we'll have to show that another time. But that's it. We're all back together. We're all done. Lesson learned. And all done. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in the next one.